Tom, you were at the game last night. We managed to rescue a point towards the end of it, but it's a bit of a weird performance all round. Not the best from the Clarets. Some strange decisions in terms of players and performance on the pitch. Very much added to that confusion. I guess. How did you feel coming off the ground? How would you summarise last night to start off with?
I think, as you said, the performance wasn't very good. I think coming off the ground, I was happy enough with the points, to be honest, from the way we played, and 4 points, in 2 away games isn't the worst return. You mentioned there the sort of strange team selections, and that was probably the biggest frustration while you were watching the game. It felt like at Sheff Wednesday was the best we'd played for a while. It felt like we'd hit on something with the midfield. We had the 3 Joshes in there.
Yeah.
And I think Laurent isn't brilliant on the ball, but he was offering us something better off it. I think he's a bit more willing to get forward. His presence is noticed more in the box, I think. And Brownhill looks better when he's playing a bit further forward as well.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. So it seemed a bit strange that I could understand. Perhaps he doesn't think Laurent's match fit. His pre-match comment suggested that he was going to be making some changes because it was a 3-game week. So I think he kind of was hinting there that whoever was dropped was perhaps not 100% match fit and played too much. It was the same for Humphreys as well. But if you're bringing Hannibal back in, I don't mind that. But I think we've seen enough to know that he can't play at number 10. He's not offering us anything with the ball.
We've been saying this for, haven't we? It's like we don't really know what to do with him. It's the weirdest position.
Yeah, that's right. But his skill set seems to be, running around, kicking people, winning balls back. But you think if that's your skill set, then you play deeper in the midfield because it doesn't really offer a lot on the ball as a 10. Yeah, and the midfield made so much more sense when Brownhill was further forward. So if you're not going to play Laurent, then play Hannibal deeper and play Brownhill beyond the striker. That was what I didn't really understand. And it's not so much the personnel for me; it's the fact that Hannibal's playing there. Yeah, and we know what we're like. I think we've seen enough as well to know by now that we're not going to be coming out and beating teams 5-6-0.
No.
The Wednesday game we played well, especially once we'd gone in front. We controlled the game really well, but we weren't great for the first 30-40 minutes in that game either. And it was the same at Hull. We're not a brilliant team at the minute, and I don't know. It's probably different schools of thought as to whether that's the manager's fault, whether the squad's just not quite good enough, but. To be where we are in the table after 11 games that haven't been fantastically inspiring the whole way through is a good sign, I'd say. And personally, I think Parker wasn't dealt a great hand.
No, he absolutely wasn't.
That's it. I think if you'd have asked anyone coming off the Sunderland away game, if you'd have told them that we're not going to lose in the next 8 games and we're going to be second in the league after that time, 3 points off the top, everyone would have been pretty happy. Just that it's perhaps a bit of a tough watch at times when we're actually doing it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing at the moment. I don't think anybody's arguing with any of those points. We know full well that the manager had an impossible situation. The first month of his managerial career was just chaos, and it was nothing like what he expected. And he kind of had to start again after the international break more than anything. He got even the Blackburn game just wasn't. The players hadn't even met each other properly by that point. And we are second in the league and we are grinding out some results and we have got that defensive resilience back that we've been craving for that we didn't see under Kompany. But the reality of it is that when you say an uncomfortable watch, that the board and the manager have a challenge on their hands, don't they? It's like they're there to deliver results. And actually we need to get an immediate return back to the Premier League. But it's the fans. Some fans are bored, and then how do you vocalize that, Tom? As if when we're analysing it or we're doing punditry or we're doing any form of opinion on it, I imagine other Championship fans are looking at us just going, "Are you out of your minds?" But we've talked about this before. It's the age-old argument of results over entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And while the football's not great to watch, there is going to be a lot less patience for the manager. If you're playing football that's hard to watch but you're winning, then you don't mind so much.
Yeah.
If you're playing football that's hard to watch and you're not getting the results, then people are going to turn quite quickly. But as I say, at the minute, I think the results by and large have been pretty good. They've been pretty impressive. So I think you're right. I think there is from the outside looking in, I don't think there's many problems at all. I think probably if you asked people who don't watch us every week, like they'd be confused as to what the problems were with where we are in the league. I suppose it could go one of two ways really at this stage. I'm still not sure which way it is going to go. We could either start playing better football, the performances improve to match what the results are doing. And if you're an optimist, you'd probably say, well, the same thing happened with Company's team. It took a bit of time to click. We do bring a lot of these players in last minute. We're getting Fleming up to speed now. He got his first goal last night. So we look a better team when he's playing number 9, I think. And maybe Parker will figure this midfield thing out and we'll suddenly start, we might beat QPR 3-4-0 on Saturday and we'll all be a lot happier. But then the pessimist would say, well, this is the way we play. We've been quite fortunate to get the results we've got so far. And at some point, our luck might run out. We could have lost to Sheffield Wednesday if they'd buried that chance they had at 0-0.
Yeah.
And then if we start sliding down the table, if the performances and the results are bad, then people are going to turn quite quickly, especially when we're charging like 50 quid to watch some of these games. But so it depends on what side of that you fall on, really. I think if we're in this kind of position in January, I think Parker will get some money to spend.
Yeah, I agree.
If you look at what he did last time, he was in this league with Bournemouth. They had a really good January transfer window and they brought some really good established players and that got them over the line. And that's what I'm sort of telling myself at the minute is I think we're going to perhaps muddle along until January. We're going to get some better reinforcements, especially up front. I think we really need those.
Yes.
You can see, I don't think he rates Cantaggi or Rodriguez, and I think he would ideally not be playing either of them or bringing either of them on when we need a goal. So if we can get 2 or 3 in key positions, as long as we can keep touch, obviously, I think I'm still relatively optimistic, but I can understand why people aren't, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think anybody's concerned at this moment in time. The Championship doesn't get going until after Christmas, probably around February time. There's always that last minute push towards the end of the season. I don't think anybody's concerned. I guess I've kind of got one thing on the back of my mind in that the tactics and the football that Parker's playing isn't particularly sophisticated in terms of the modern game. It's very simple. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's very easy to counteract. We've already seen it. We've seen unsophisticated and relatively newish Championship managers come to Turf Moor and just nullify us and nullify the threat. I don't like to make comparisons, especially considering I hate the guy, but Company's football was so dynamic and so advanced that it was impossible. Managers were coming out and saying, we know what they're going to do, but we don't know what to do about it. There's you know what I mean? There was no answer to it. So I think that bothers me a little bit, Tom. I wonder, when you talk about running out of steam, if we've no plan B, then how do we could easily fall into 7th or 8th by the end of the season. I think that would be a really disappointing season. But I think you're right. I think as long as we're there or thereabouts by January, then yes, we do need. Well, we've got time. A lot of our transfer business in the summer was very last minute. We've got the time to look at this and to bring in the right players, and we've got time to be able to do some deals properly. So that's good. Just a very quick one though, to hopefully end on a positive note. How did Fleming do last night? Obviously, he was up front on his own. He was very much responsible for leading the line last night. He was rewarded with his goal. But what did you make of his overall play? Because at the moment, a lot of hopes are resting on his shoulders.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have to discuss the Sheffield Wednesday game as well, because he wasn't great last night. I think he struggled to get the service, and I think part of that was what we've discussed already, not really having that link from midfield.
Yeah.
But his performance against Sheffield Wednesday was a really good number 9 performance. He led the line really well. He was battling. He was bullying their centre halves. Because when we brought him in, I thought of him as kind of a 10, and I thought if he's playing up top, he's going to be kind of more of a false 9 almost. But he's very happy doing the back stuff, doing the donkey work as well. Wasn't his best game last night, but then he popped up with a goal, and it was a classic sort of Sam Vokes goal. It was a cross coming in, and he's popping up with a brilliant header and putting it in the top corner. So I thought you'd like that, Natalie. Yeah. So I think
my team know me well.
I think we can be optimistic about him. I think he probably needs a bit of a run of games as well. He's been quite a stop-start early career so far, and I don't know that well, but my understanding is that he wasn't playing as a number 9 every week for Millwall, so he perhaps needs a bit of time to learn the position a bit as well. But I think he's probably offering us more than Foster was, and I think partly as well, we play to his strengths a little bit more than we did Foster's, or we're starting to. I'm hoping so. Yeah, I think we can be optimistic about that. And I think as long as he stays fit and we get Foster back fairly soon, then we've got a couple of decent options. I know a lot of people won't agree with me when I say Foster's a decent option up front, but I'm still holding out hope for him.
Should be. Yeah, he's out of form at the moment, but he should be. He should be absolutely bossing this league. It's weird that he's not. And that's got to sort it out. Yeah. Great. Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, we'll let you go then. Keep you at home this weekend, assuming that we don't get a really poor performing bottom of the table side that sticks 11 men behind the ball. You have relatively positive feelings about our chances of success.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to see us losing. Like you said, I think it could be a game where a little bit of patience is required. But as long as we get the first goal, I'd be fairly confident. And I think the way we played against Sheffield Wednesday gave me a bit of hope. I think we're starting to look at better attacking team. And certainly the second half last night as well, I thought we looked like a better attacking team. So, yeah, I'm optimistic for maybe a 2 or even a 3-goal win.
Excellent. Well, you see, I don't know how I'm going to, obviously when we go back to the previous show in a second, I'm not sure how I'm going to predict this because I've been predicting 4-0 all season. We've been doing 1-0s and 0-0s. And I said a 1-0 close game for Sheffield Wednesday and we won 2-0. So, see, it might have done. Well, thanks. Good to catch up with you, Tom. We will see you after the weekend's game for the analysis show. And you take care until then. Thanks, Tom.
Great stuff. Thanks very much. Take care.
The No Nay Never podcast is brought to you in association with the TalkSport Fan Network. Our host and editor is Natalie Bromley, and the show is produced by Matt Moss. Our resident statistician is Dave Roberts, and our FPL expert is Adam Dennett. The Analysis Show team is collectively Tom Whittaker, Rich Steele, George Poole, Charlotte Rigby, and Adam Dennett. Our music is provided by George Gaskell, and our newsletter team is headed up by Jamie Smith. If you don't already, you can subscribe to our newsletter by visiting nonaynever.substack.com. Thanks as ever go to our partners TalkSport. We are proud to be associated with the TalkSport Fan Network.